How we doing, guys? Hello, Gringo to Bilingual. Welcome to my channel. My name is Connor, and I've been gaining input since October 2024. Now, it's been a while since I last uploaded the video. 11th September it was, and I believe that was a 500-hour update. Reason for that is because I put a lot of pressure on myself. Now, if you watch my previous updates, you would know I've spoke about this a fair bit. I believe it's come up in pretty much in every single update, and I do that. I do that with quite a lot of things in my life. So I've had to really rein it back in a little bit and learn to drop back so I can put effort into other areas of my life, like university, like work, personal relations, things like that. So as I said, I've been getting an hour and a half on average. Some days I've not been getting on, but that's been a personal test for me. So as I said, I'm still here. I thought quit, still be gaining input. Another thing I want to say is now and again I might say something in Spanish. If I do that, I will repeat it straight away in English because I understand that some people in the journey might be early on and they might have that curiosity to see what it's like when you're getting close to 1,000 hours. I know I certainly did. But at the same time, I've had some comments saying, "Oh, we should just speak English." Da, 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 da. There's a reason as to why I allow that Spanish to come out, and I'll get onto that later. Okay. So yeah, so talking about input, where am I? Right, okay. So if I talking about the pressure, I've had to really swap things up a little bit. So I get some input whilst I'm out walking, and when I'm out walking, when I'm doing something that doesn't require a lot of focus, not talking about cooking because I believe that then becomes passive income. When I'm walking and I can listen, I tend to listen to high-end intermediate content. The podcasts during the Spanish, they're all right. It's more stuff on YouTube I listen to a lot. And I like the interviews that Pablo does, or with successful students of Dreaming Spanish. I really like listening to those, and that's what I mean by high-end intermediate. But I listen to a lot of advanced stuff on Dreaming Spanish. I've recently just been watching that survival series with Andres. Really like that. I'm on my second time of watching that now because I think it's always good to re-listen to things, especially if you've enjoyed it. Because I'm a man of nature. I'd like to say that I'm a man of nature, and so that survival series for me is right up my street. They talk vocabulary like brújula, which is a compass, and all of these small little details. It's fantastic. Love it. So that's where I am with input. But I also listen to a lot of YouTube content, and as you can imagine, a lot of that there's some of that is adjusted and refined for students. But I listen to a lot of native stuff, especially regarding mental health and how to build a strong character. Um, because at university I'm studying to be a psychotherapist, so it's really good with for that input because it's part of my daily life and what I'm interested in. So it really works for me. Also, I tend to meditate in Spanish as well. 15, 20, 25 minutes. I use a guided meditation, obviously. And that's another really good way for me, I found, to try and condense my time and get the most out of my time as possible. It's part of that immersion, isn't it? Um, everything you do in your day, if you can turn that into Spanish, you're not only going to enjoy it more, you're going to learn more. And I think a lot of my language learning process up to yet has led me to the realization that that is really not only useful but beneficial in terms of a time, in terms of managing your time. Um, as well as learning the language, you got to learn how to fit it into your day-to-day routine. Because as I said before, we're so busy as people, right? The world runs 1,000 miles an hour, and it's just really helped me to do that, especially at this stage. So moving on, to that, moving on from that, I've been speaking, and I've probably been speaking since the summer. How have I found that? Um, Mixed. It's been mixed. So right now with speaking, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about if I might speak a little bit of Spanish. There's a reason as to why I do that, and that's because what I've found is that English mechanism in my brain, the English structure in my brain that I've known for the last 31 years. It likes to put its 50 pence in. It likes to nip in, and a lot of the time I've become really really good at translating literally in real time, really fast, English words, English sentence structures, turning that into Spanish vocabulary. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I've spent a lot of time really just trying to gain that input and try and change that mechanism in my head, para cambiar el chip, to change that chip in my mind from English to Spanish. So that's why if I speak Spanish, I allow it to happen, because it's part of that immersion. It's part of that accepting on a subconscious level and trusting your intuition as to what you're saying is correct. So I wasn't trying to be horrible, I wasn't trying to be straight up. Just, this is my channel and this is part of my learning process. So that's why I do that. But let's retract back a little bit and speak about that English mechanism in my brain. Now, I've read quite a few of the blogs that the Dreaming Spanish team have posted on the app, the website, like I say, whatever. And it speaks about how it also says it in some of the content as well, about why it's good to reach 1,000 hours before you start speaking. And this is one of the big reasons, guys. This is one of the big reasons, because I'm stuck between Spanish at times and English, which is quite normal. But you don't have to speak before that, do you? And I really wanted to wait to 1,000 hours, but I couldn't. curiosity got the better of me. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But in terms of speaking, I feel pretty happy. Like, well, no, I'm not displeased with myself. Let's put it that way. I'm not far from happy, because I do have perfectionist traits in myself, and I want to speak well, man. I want to speak well, and I'm finding that when I'm speaking, people on Tandem, which is a language exchange application, same with Hello Talk. A lot of people always say, I always understand what you mean. I always know what you want to say. And I always get my point across. It's more of a personal thing. It costs me, because I know I'm not doing it right. And people will say, oh, you've got a strong accent, British accent. The British accent is strong, isn't it? We can't lie about that. And I'm proud of my British accent when speaking English. When speaking Spanish, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to lie. And I need to work on that. But how do I work on that? I read an article recently talking about how artificial and natural foreign accents, and it mentions about an artificial accent is that accent we put on with the sounds of the language we know what it is in our head. Okay, when we know what it is in our head, that's when you've got some good input. And usually when I start talking, I have a great artificial accent, but as I progress through 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes in, I myself can tell that I've dropped that accent, because I'm too busy trying to think and be perfect in my mind. Now, these are just very real problems that I'm finding at 850 hours. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because because I'm putting pressure on myself now, I can feel it, and I kind of put myself down about it. But if I reflect back to where I was at the beginning of last year, I'd love to be where I am now. And I think that's really important to do. That is to have a postmark, have a marker, and reflect back and say, well, look where I was then, and look where I am now. So yeah, that's that. I've also found that's very beneficial with input as well, to have a marker to say, oh, well, I really struggle to understand that at 500 hours, 850 hours, breeze, mate, breeze. But that's interesting. At 850 hours, I'm noticing I'm no longer trying to translate anymore. I take a lot for it for what it is. Odd word now and again if I'm not too familiar with the word, especially with phrases. Phrases are different. Phrases can blow your mind because sometimes the phrases that we don't have in English. So it's allowing that natural association and connection to develop and to flourish within the mind and being able to accept that for what it is. So at 850 hours, this is what I'm finding. It's being able to build naturally flowing Spanish conversation without letting that English mechanism have put its 50 pence in. And understanding expressions that to me don't make sense. So, yeah, very interesting. What am I going to do from now? So, I'm going to continue getting input as and when I can. I've got a lot going off at the minute. I've got a new job as well. So, I'm wrapping my head around that. Uni, other personal things in my life as well that require awareness and attention. So yeah, I'm going to continue being how I am because I'm feeling a lot better now, allowing myself to get. Yesterday I got 18 minutes worth of input, and the 15 minutes that was a meditation. So so that's what I'm going to continue doing. I am wanting to go to Spain in August. I'm planning on driving down. Quiero irme a Zaragoza. I want to go to Zaragoza. It's in the north of Spain. It's not too far from Barcelona. It's a stone throw away, pretty much. In August, so I've got a goal, and I want to keep learning, and that's where I'm at. So thank you for watching this channel. Thank you for watching this video. As I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in 150 hours with 1,000 hours update. That's me. Any questions, any comments, any advice? Dimmy low. Tell me. Take care, guys. Thank you.